For the first time in San Diego County history, our sheriff is a female, but not just any female. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt. Wally Aliu is off. Kelly Martinez has been with the department for 40 years, working in everything from our jails to organized crime. I got the rare opportunity to ride with her in one of the sheriff's helicopters to get a bird's eye view of the massive area she serves. This is the Air Fleet base for the sheriff's office at Gillespie Field. Sheriff Kelly Martinez is giving me rare access from the sky over the vast 4,200 square miles of land in which she's responsible. A professional ascension that started when she joined the department as a deputy in 1985.
That's all of the unincorporated San Diego County. We contract with 9 cities in the region to provide their public safety services, 18 Indian reservations, which is the most of anywhere in the country, and 7 jails, courthouse security for all the courthouses in San Diego County.
Sheriff Martinez and I take off in the department's ASTREA helicopter, and I immediately see how enormous our county appears from the sky. From up here, you can see there's miles of mountains in San Diego County. As far as we can see, there are rocky, steep mountains. The department's helo provides patrol support both here and in the heavily populated cities.
We also do a lot of rescue operations, rescues and recoveries. We have a huge backcountry area where people get lost and they need help, and we do a lot of those rescues. In addition to that, we work and partner with CAL FIRE and County Fire on wildland fire response.
So much of San Diego County is rugged. The only way to get into this area is by helicopter.
This is the most difficult job that I've had to learn how to do in law enforcement.
As Sheriff Martinez reflects on her 40 years in the San Diego County Sheriff's Office, she says 2 cases will stay with her forever. The University Town Center fire, believed to be an act of the Earth Liberation Front.
It was a $50 million domestic terrorism, act of domestic terrorism. I worked with the Joint Terrorism Task Force and the FBI on that.
And tracking white supremacist groups, such as Tom Metzger's White Aryan Resistance and Aryan Nations.
We've had instances in our county where white supremacy was a very big deal. We were following people who were committing criminal acts of hatred.
Martinez says crimes like these are cyclical. As times change, they rise and fall. But a great concern now, mental health issues.
The one thing that's always concerning are the mass shooting incidents, which we've seen a lot of. Started with Columbine back in our history with Santana High School shooting, which I was one of the detectives that responded to that. So this is all sheriff's jurisdiction out here.
As she rose in the department, she worked the gang units, undercover, and the narcotics task force. She says when she first started working in the drug units, clandestine labs were the big deal.
The methamphetamine craze of the 80s, we were the methamphetamine capital of the country. At that time, fentanyl started, I think, in San Diego, coming across our border. They're seeing the things we saw 2 years ago, they're now seeing in Northern California and on the East Coast.
Her department launched a successful gang education and a respect project over a decade ago to mentor young people away from gangs. Her attention also goes to the elderly to protect them from cyber crimes and Bitcoin scams.
Here on the left side of the helicopter, that's Eagle Peak.
Sheriff Martinez's biggest disappointment is the state of our jails. She explains they were built for the population 50 years ago, and now we have 4,000 inmates a day, many in need of medical or mental services, and we don't have the appropriate spaces for that care.
We spend a lot of money on medical care in our facilities, about $215 million a year annually for the medical care. It's really the biggest mental health care system in our county is our jails.
So many issues in a county so diverse, both in population and geography. As we make our way back to Gillespie, Sheriff Martinez reflects on the many wins for her department, which she attributes to the collaborative work of law enforcement, from the decline in crime rates and fentanyl overdoses to the expansion of education programs and high-tech advances in policing.
I'm getting a little choked up because my parents came from such humble beginnings, and this was never an expectation. My dad was uncertain when I went into this job. He was San Diego police officer and was concerned for my safety and the way women were treated in this profession at that time. He never lived to see me promote to sergeant, so to be in this position is pretty special.
Sheriff Martinez continues to educate people about the state of the jails because upgrades would keep staff and inmates safer. And she says a lot of offenders afflicted by mental health issues are dangerous if left in the community. And she's also working on building community engagement to improve public trust in law enforcement, a profession for which she has devoted most of her life.